Hi everyone, welcome to today's live session, and I'm super excited to see you all here. So today's session is all about how data extraction is evolving, and we will start from our community board Extractor, which gives us a quick hands-on way to try out extractions, and we will discover all the way to tools like AutoExtract and the custom parsing method I used earlier to build a more advanced and cost-efficient data pipeline before we feed our raw web data to an LLM. And though now you know how you could do that quickly now with the new feature we have with the inner auto extract on Zyte. So we'll go through that. But if you know about the extract data community. So yep, sorry for that. Just consumption of resources is high, so it's a bit lagging. But yeah, if you're part of the extended data community, you probably already know how passionate we are about exploring data extraction, automation, and the cool technologies that power it. So with the same spirit, we recently added a new feature to our community board called Extractor, where you can actually try out an extraction yourself using a simple extract command. So it's not meant to give you the full data set right there in the Discord. It's more of a demonstration feature you can try out. So we will see how it uh, yeah, so we'll see how it extracts structured information from almost anywhere and what happens behind that simple extract command that you can use. So if you just do like this, you could get this command. We'll see how it works and how it works behind the scenes, both of that. But uh, and then we'll see a sort of a mimic version of the code that we used to build this up, not the actual production code definitely, but a small mini version of that. And then we will dive into the different parser comparison, like different parsing libraries I tried for the custom extraction in this, and we'll test them out live and see how the same HTML content can be parsed with them, and which one is good to feed to the LLM, like which is good to process your raw data, raw HTML, before feeding it to the LLM to convert it to a structured CSV file or JSON, or if you want LLM to answer the question based on that script. As the raw web HTML just consume lots of input tokens, which rises your cost. We'll do a comparison like how much cost is there if you do it uh, putting it to the direct raw HTML, or when you do it with the after processing with the different libraries to the LLM. And toward the end, we will also look at a new Zyte API feature called page content, which takes this entire flow to the next level by automatically preparing clean structured LLM ready data straight from any page, which I earlier did, manually, like experimenting with different parsing libraries. So cool. With that, let's Yep, with that, let's do this. So if you are part of this community, you can already go to the Extract headquarters channel. If you are not, you can, just you'll find the link in the description of this channel and you can go there. And once you do that, you can simply type slash, and then you first use info to know what else this bot can do for you. And we will mutually focus on to the extract command. And if you run this, and you need some URL to enter here. So let's use our favorite dummy site to let's use the mystery page. And if I take you on this and you enter the URL, you also get the option to select the type. So in our case, if it's a product page, you can use product. If it's a product, if there are multiple product onto the page, you can go with the product list. We have the product navigation as well, you can try out. If it's article or a blog or news page, you can try out that. If it's a job post, you can do that. If you don't worry about any of them, you just want to run the basic extraction, you can use browser HTML. So in our case, it's a catalog for the mystery books. I will use a product list and I will just press enter. One more thing, if the site is region specific, you also have a option to use the country code, so you can choose from any of it. Since it's a dummy site, I don't need that, but basically try out though Zyte API automatically auto tried that for you. But if you uh, feel the extraction didn't work out for you, then you can manually select the country code from here. But yeah, as you can see, the extraction was ran successfully. We go with the fields where they like the product URL, metadata, country name, product found, and we go to 20 products onto the page. So if you go to this URL, you find it. And if you do the similar thing with the browser HTML, so I'm just trying to show you the how the different type works. So you get into the similar way. This time it shows the HTML here, and you go to the content, how much the length of it, and yeah. So you can try it with different sites. If you found something buggy or you'd like to add on some more feature into it, just let's connect in the community and just drop your ideas there. And yeah, so now let's do one thing. We will jump to we see how this extracted board worked, and now let's see how this uh, board works behind the scenes. What are the auto extract feature we used from Zyte? And there is one interesting thing that we used, that is the auto fallback. If the any of the site you ended in and the auto extract didn't work out for any of the reason, maybe there were maximum requests sent from your side or any of the reason, at that time it does use the auto fallback. It jump to the browser HTML or to the custom extraction. We will explore that. So let's dive into the VS Code. Hope that will be visible, but if no, let's zoom in a bit. We give you the overview of it by just minimizing its start. So we have our main function which follows some rules, and to explain you in detail, I created these custom to process modes here. Like one is the custom extraction pipeline. I'll walk you through it, and then we have the process of the Gemini. So I will show you how you could pre-process the data before feeding, rather than feeding your raw HTML to the any of the LLM models. So for that, I just use Gemini. You could use some other. You could use Agno to run the local LLM on your PC, but still have live streaming, and it is gonna consume lots of resources. So I'm just gonna use some offset model like Gemini. You could also try it with Grok. I think in previous one of our session we tried running the queries via the Grok, so that is also you can try out. We have these two functions. I'm gonna come back to it once we discuss the custom extraction, because they both are part of it. And first, let's jump to the main function. So in the main function, you'll find we are using Zyte API, and my key is in the environment. As a good practice, you should follow that as well. We just get the URL from to the user. So let's run it side by side. We'll get the better idea. So the habit pipeline, and once we run it, we will see it's a complete mimic version of to the boat I showed you. The similar way you enter the URL there, I'm gonna enter the URL here. So it's just follow the same path, but in more of a terminal view And so yeah, the next step, you get the URL from here, and here are the 10 features that will ask you. So if I will enter any of the URL from, let's pick this time the codes.scrape. So once I enter this, it will ask me like which type of extraction I want to choose. So see, like the first 9 extractions, or I'm sorry. So the first 9 extractions uses the Zyte AutoExtract, and the 10th one is a custom pipeline. It uses 2 parsing libraries. One is extract and one is unstructured. Extract and unstructured. I didn't use definitely to Ladura. I will tell you why. I used it earlier as a step 2. So like the custom pipeline is based into the 2-step process. One is it will try to get the parsing logic out of extract, and then it will fall back to the unstructured. Uh, I added Rafael Latura as the step 2, but it didn't work out. Like it was breaking this scraper. We can call it a universal scraper because it works for maximum of the almost most of the sites, and it the step 2 didn't work out for it. So I've kept 2 step only. So the 10th option is based on that, and then we pre-process the data in a unstructured JSON, I could say, and then we pass on that JSON to the any of the LLM. In our case, I'm using Gemini, so we pass it to that, and we have some prompt set into this function. I'll show it to you, and then it process it and create a proper JSON for you, and then send it back, and we save it in our local system. So yeah, so it will ask me the extraction from here. Now it is a basic try logic I have said. Yeah, you'll also get this complete mimic version. Like I will push it to the GitHub and give you the repo in the community. So do join the community. It's not onto the GitHub right now, but I will definitely push it up after this session and give you the complete code base there. So yeah, so it's just we are mapping the extraction numbers from above to find the entry from the user in this here. And if I do go out in the both case, it is also the type function that we had onto the Discord terminal. Like if I take you back to this, so we had our selection we could do onto from here, like the URL and the type. So it's the similar mapping I am doing into this mimic version here. And once that is done, we just pass the payload as a URL. As we know, there's like the first 9 feature, are based on the auto extract. So we need to pass that URL as a JSON format to the Zyte API, and we just do that here, and that is passed into here back, like in the JSON structure, and the API key we got from the environment, and we send the request via Zyte API, and yeah, and just to handle errors, and then we do some parsing here. So if it is 1 to 9, we don't do parsing. By 1 it is already get the JSON response back from to this API. So for example, in our case, when I entered full screen, so yeah, in our case, when I entered the codes to escape.com, and we know it's a code space, so we could use the article. Since it's list the multiple codes, we can just go with the article list. So I'm gonna put this here, and so yeah, I was supposed to use the number. Okay, so I'm gonna use number 5, and we will see we got the data saved to this window. Okay, subdivision. It's weird. Let's try it with the Rapid pipeline. We have blocked something. Let's start with the travel page. We have the product list. And yeah, we got it, the complete structured JSON from the via Zyte API using the AutoExtract feature. And I don't know why did it work for the codes. Maybe something I did wrong into this code and it directly jumped to the custom extraction. But yeah, got the you got the point. We can use any of these features. Now earlier, there was something I want to try out by using a custom extraction. So for example, if my any of the use case doesn't fit into this any of this, right? Though almost they covered maximum of the website we used to scale, but like uh, we means you used to practice really about it, right? Whichever website you wanted to focus on, like it could be product, it could be article, so it could lie into any of these. But there were some sites which you feel you wanted to try it manually and you wanted to parse them, you wanted to have a specific logic. So there is also the custom attribute you could pass along with these, but still if you wanted to go with the manual parsing and using LLM. So I tried out this thing. So what it does basically is it calls up this function and it first run the basic processing from the Zyte API. Like rather than getting the auto extract, I use it to get the browser HTML. And so once we get that browser HTML, even if I show you how we used to get it, like auto extract, we know we used the specific payload extraction type we had from 1 to 9 for this, and we used to pass it. And if it was a extraction type custom extraction, then we used to get the browser HTML as a response back. But if it was a like 1 to 9 case, we used to get the like simple JSON back, and we use like just set this into the payload. And case 3 is just error, so we are not going to look at that. But yeah, once we got this browser HTML back, and we just save that up, and then we run the pre-processing of it. So for pre-processing, I use basically two libraries, as I said. One is the extract and one is the unstructured. So first step was to go through the extract. The reason I chose extract was since some sites already includes the structured data, like the in their metadata like JSON LD or the some microdata. Basically most of the product pages you will find the you could easily parse the content through this using the extract library. So that's why I used it, and I basically picked up JSON LD and the microdata. You can also get the like the page graphs as well via this, but it's an open source library you can try out. So this is a step one. It usually works for some of the pages, but if it doesn't work for some of them, I jump to the step two, which is using the unstructured library. So unstructured is uh, more of a library like it could convert your raw HTML, not just raw HTML. It could be for the PDF, for the documents, anything, to a proper text blocks, including the heading and the list of it. There are other libraries as well. We explore like different parsers, and why I choose these two. For this, we will know once we'll go through them. So yeah, so the in step one, coming back to it, in step one we use the extract, and if it doesn't work, we'll jump back to the like our step to the unstructured one. And coming to this, like we uh, yeah, so in this we just run some analysis, and we found in the high value data, like high value data by I mean if we are getting the data into the first step only using the this extract, right? It's some sort of a high level data we are getting, right? We don't need to go through other parsing libraries. So once we get that, we just run the process to remove the basic content from it, and then just convert it to the JSON and a proper JSON structure, and then we save it up. And once, if it doesn't work, we jump to the unstructured. And unstructured is just, you can uh, call using the partition HTML, you can just pass the HTML content, the HTML file you have. And once you does that, you will get either you can save the partition data that you have into the original format that is provided by the unstructured, or you can convert it to the plain text. So you can follow both of these methods. So I think it was good to submit via the partition data to the LLM, because it was more structured rather than just simply submitting the plain text. But you can try it with both. I think there's a but this thing doesn't make much of the cost difference into the or the input tokens you submit to the LLM. But you get the idea about this. So and for the Gemini, I'm going to explain uh, in a bit once we run this extraction, so it cover up and go through it again, like how it actually works, the custom extraction part. So I'm going to run it again, and let's try again with the codes to page. So if I run that 10th part, this time I'm going to use the custom extraction, this one. And now it is gonna, like, at this stage it's sending the, like, we got the raw HTML. Okay, that was quick. So if I take it up, we just run the scraping, and I'm not sure why it is coming to product list. Might be something typo I did, but yeah, we just okay. Oh, my bad, I got up. Yeah, we ran for the codes, and first we ran the simple request via Zyte API, and we got our browser HTML, we retrieved it, and then we run the hybrid extraction using the two-step process that we had. First was extract. We tried it, we didn't get much because it was basically for the product pages. Even when you will run it for the books to scrape, you won't find much data into that. But for the some good sites, if you try it out at that time, you will found some of the good content you could easily get with this library, and you don't need to hustle of writing the manual parsing using Beautiful Soup or Selectolex or any other library. And now if you as you can see, we got the content from unstructured, and we got the structured JSON to save it, and also the plain text. So this is a structured JSON. The reason I said it is good to feed this structured JSON into the LLM is it is more structured, and your LLM don't need, if it's a plain text, let me do one thing. Even if we make it minimize, I'm gonna open both of the files side by side for you, and we'll see the comparison. Cool. So see, this is the plain text you get, right? I know it gets you the bit of low cost, right? But it is more structured, this one. So I think LLM in certain cases is gonna not, this is only 24 lines, and that is for tokens we don't count lines, but we count the number of words, or it might be sentences based on the LLM, or might be words. So it is bunch of more words, but it is structured in a better way. So if you can write a proper prompt in a good way, which I write, I will show you up, in that cases this might work for you. But in many of the cases, I think this is the a good way to feed it, because it is more structured, and it is already a JSON, but it is like we have some unnecessary content we need to remove from here. Now, how does Gemini does that for us? So I just import it using this generative AI library, and into the second function we created, we just send the structured JSON data to the Gemini, and you just need to initialize the Gemini client. Just get your API key, which is into the environment. So I've just set it up there, and for that I use this prompt. Like, you're an expert structuring AI, your task is to convert the following semi-structured web page into a clean JSON object. So I already told him, like, it needs to determine if it is a product, article, or a single entity, because it was a sort of a universal scraper. Like, any of the URL can come in, and it should process that process the data, despite of the what is the page for. It might be article, it might be product, it might be anything. You don't need to worry about that. So, and it will only output the final JSON with no explanation, no markdown, because we don't need that. Whenever you ask GPT, it's start explaining you of things. And yeah, and this we then print that script data that we just did here at bottom, this one. So this last one came from Gemini directly into the structured format, and even we can see do that. So this was from the Gemini in a really structured way. So now see, that was the thing that we got from the uh, using when we pre-process our data, right? And I use the Gemini to modify Flash model for this. You can also try with Pro, just you need to change it to the Pro and you can do that. So I tried it Flash, right? And now what we will do is we tried it with the pre-processed data. Now let's try it directly feeding the uh, HTML to the Gemini and see how much usage it is going to take. Before that, let me show you the actual usage. So if you see the screen, so I sent 2 requests. Let me refresh it. So you could see the recent request that we sent was cost us around for Gemini 2.5 was 0.7 to 9K. So even if I zoom that for you, so that was about this much. And now when I'm gonna send the complete HTML, we'll see the difference into the cost of this. So let's do that thing. So I have a separate file for that, which is mean HTML.direct, and I'm gonna use the same model to get the better comparison. I think I've set it to Pro previously. Yeah, it's Pro. So earlier we used Flash, so let's use that only. So I'm going to use this HTML direct script now, and this is going to do the same thing that we did into the previous script, just that it will send the HTML directly to the Gemini without pre-processing it using the Extractor library. So it's the same, it's the same thing that is this. So even if I show you into the code, the same, everything is same, just the changes in the, yes, we send the raw HTML Gemini to the Gemini, and then just save that file. We just use the HTML content here, but into this, when we were sending it, we used the yeah, we just send the yeah, we send the process data that we had. So I'm gonna run this file now. Let's clear that up. Python, and we're gonna run the main HTML.direct. And I'm gonna use the same URL I used there, which was for the codes. Let's use the custom extraction. So it's completely same, the process for it. It's gonna take a bit of time. So we got this here. We're gonna feed that to the not this, we're not gonna feed that. We're gonna feed this complete custom browser HTML that we got from Zyte API. So it did that process and it's working really quick. Maybe I'm using Flash. I was earlier using the Pro, so it might be the reason that it was taking time. But let's see the codes now that we got. Refresh the page. It is some reason it is not showing us the. Okay, see, it load a bit late, but you could see video how much is the different into the usage token. It's so you could see the difference into the input tokens that we fed per minute and how much difference it comes out to be for these two requests. I don't know why the numbers are okay. See, it is 3.74 and it is 1.17. So I think the 3x difference that you got when you feed the pre-processed data and when you feed the complete browser raw HTML to any of the LLM mode, like in our case, it's Gemini. So you could try it with the Gemini Pro as well. I think the cost difference is going to come same. Uh, you'll get the script after this uh, after this live, and you could just try it on using the pro model as well. Just get your API key, Zyte API key and Gemini API key, put it into the environment, and you can do that. So you get the idea for this. So this was the same script we used into our bot, a similar one, and so I think we covered into this code thing, and now I have something to show you. Like I tried this sound thing earlier, I think few months back when I was building out this bot, but now there is something new that we have launched at Zyte. So which is if you go to the docs.zyte.com and you go to the extraction, you will found we earlier had e-commerce articles and job posting. Now we have a generic scraper. So whatever I did from the uh, like complete of using the extract and unstructured, it could be done with the page content. I'm going to explore it in a bit, but before that there was a parsers I showed you, right, which we are yet to explore. So for that I'm going to use the same custom raw HTML for the quotes page we used, and we used, and I'm going to run the yeah, I'm gonna run the parsing for each from each of these, and we will see which parsing library could be good for your use case and why I used the extract and the unstructured. Right, I already told you, but let me compare all of this for you. So let's try it with the extract first. Let's close this up and let's jump to the parser folder. We have pi, and if I run the first one, you will see where we're not going to find anything, because this, I told you, if you even try it for the uh, like a dummy sites, it's not going to work, but it works into the some good sites if you try on. And so let's try it with, now we tried with the extract. Now let's try it with the parsers.html.txt. So that is the another library we have. So if you jump to this, you'll found I used the HTML, like I tried the custom extraction with this as well, like to parse the logic in some automated way, but it gives us the data into text format, but that is really not good. So if I run it for you, yeah, see how I am getting the this unnecessary stuff. But in when I did with the unstructured, how clean it was, right? How clean it was. So see, I know, you have to fed this data to the, sorry, not this one, you have to fed this data to the Gemini, that is fine. But even you fed this data, that is also fine. You have the tags here, you have the uh like the codes in structured format. It might be, there might be some difference into the output. This might be more proper output, this might be not a proper output from the LLM, but that is fine. You get the idea, like how the text is getting converted in the two of these library, HTML to TXT and the unstructured. So that was another reason using the unstructured over the HTML to TXT. And then we have another parser that I tried out, which was selectolex. And if I talk about selectolex, it is, I'm not gonna call it, it is not gonna help you into the automatic parsing. It is more of a I would say more focused version of the beautiful soup. So you could use it when you want to a super fast lightweight HTML parser. It is more ideal for uh, the quick element scraping, or when performance for you is really a good thing. and it's more memory efficient so than the beautiful zoom. So it makes it perfect for some real-time scraping you want to do, or if you want to do it for the large scale. Once you might not see the difference here, but once you try it with the BS4 and to the select tool as, you can see the difference. So in our case, I just used the HTML parser. I passed the HTML content, the same HTML we had for the codes, and uh, we just run this. And if I'm gonna run it, okay, it's not loading, which, so once you run it, you will see the output comes out in really with lots of indentation and lots of gaps into it, and it is also not properly structured. But see, you really don't want it to feed all of this to your LLM, right? It's definitely going to increase the cost. So this was another reason to use the unstructured over it, using the select to like. So we covered extract. We know, see, it is not a comparison. Extract has a different purpose. It is to capture the metadata, basically, like if the content is already into the JSON payload, and like the JSON that is loaded by the site, that is used by the browser while rendering the page. So that is the purpose of it. You don't need to parse it if you are directly getting data from a like directly getting data from a site in JSON format. You don't need to do it, right? So that's why you use it. But basically comparison lies into four of these. And yeah, you get the idea of it. So if I go into Trafila, this I put it into the step 2 I told you, while comparing the three of the parsing method. So it was the point I removed it after some time because it was not working for many of the sites I was trying out. And it was just it was getting me the data, but it was not in the proper format. And it is basically, you can use it after importing, and in a similar way you can just use its own function to extract and pass the HTML content. All of these work in a similar way, but this was a really good, it really works well for the article and the news if you want to process it. So even if I run it for the like for the, since we already have the codes, so it will work. I think it should work for the good for the codes page. Yeah, it's really worked good. But see, you could see like the content is into really a paragraph format, right? And because of that, uh is it become difficult to feed it to LLM, right? And it is sometimes also half, because you can see, and if you use it for the product page, it was able to get the data, but that was not structured properly. And that's why, as you can see, like we had a fallback for the our pipeline. There was a fallback for the step 1, step 2, right? And if the step 1 is not working, it would jump to step 2. But when I was using Grafila to as a step 2, it was working, but it was working half. So that's why I got the half data, but it was not jumping to the step 3. Now you could use some semantic methods, right? You could set up the some parameters, like if the length of the page is higher or lower for specific characters, it would jump to the next step, and if it is not, it would not jump to the step 2. So uh, see, it is like how much optimized you can make it up, right? But still, it was just a sort of a, after some time it became headache for this universal scraper. So that's why I didn't use this as well. And the final conclusion was to use the unstructured. So how the clear like the clear output is given by the unstructured. See, like how quiet, not in a paragraph format, but in the proper listing format, it goes to scheme login, everything. And that's why I jumped to these two libraries. Now, if, as I said, if you don't want to get a headache of using this, building the custom extraction, still want to work, still want your this universal scraper to work, there is a new feature that came up. So we are going to try it out. So how the auto extract used to work, right? We used to pass the product or the as a payload product or the product list, but now you can use the page content. So if I show you this, you can, for the general content, you can just use this as out, and it uh directly provide you the, the general content from the page, which you could fed to the LLM that we pre-processed using the extract and the unstructured. Uh, so if I let's clear this up. Now, if you go back to the previous directory and if you run the Zyte page net demo, you will see I'm gonna run it for the same course to skip site, and I don't need to use any of the parsing. It is gonna send me the JSON payload, clearly see everything in the similar way. I could directly fed this to the LLM, and it will get me the uh, proper JSON format as a result, and I will get something similar to this back from the Gemini or the LLM you are gonna use. So if you need a quick answers for the data from the data you have got from any site, and you don't want to work on the parse logic, you can just do the page content, or you could go with the manual method by getting that much of headache that I get. But you could use this if you that is quite easy. You just pass the page content here, and you will get the on this site this type of content, the general content from the site. And I think that will also save a lot of token cost for you, and you can do that up. So yeah, just now go to the I think that was it for this I'm just going to take you to the so yeah, that was I think it for the session. So just go to the Discord, go to the Extractor headquarters channel and try to run your own extraction and see how it works for you. Share your feedback, and if you want some improvements into this, just let us know. If it doesn't work for you, let us know. And there are some additional features there, so just do check them out as well. And I think that's it for it. And if you have any questions, you can drop it in the chat, and we'll pick it. And if you don't have right now, you can just share it into the community. So yeah, I think we covered all of this. And if you have any questions, so I don't see any questions, so I think we can wrap this up. Yep. So thanks everyone for joining for this live. We'll do join us next week at the same time. For the next week live, it will be here only on YouTube again. And yeah, have a great day, everyone.